Welcome to the Richard Sherman Podcast, brought to you by The Volume. Follow me all year long for the best content in the NFL. Make sure you subscribe. Talk to you soon. And I'm going to let you know something. It ain't a lot to do in Buffalo, but what there is to do in Buffalo is coming out of the AFC. And Buffalo with Josh Allen and Diggs and like getting Von Miller was like, it's hard to describe. You know, it's kind of like what the Rams did. You know, they didn't need him. It's an embarrassment of riches, and they got him. They were a championship roster who likely would have been in the Super Bowl had their overtime rules been a little different.
Right.
But they aren't, and they weren't. But I think that they'll come out of the AFC. I got them in the Super Bowl with the San Francisco 49ers. You know, I know that's where we're going next. San Francisco 49ers, Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl, and I got San Francisco winning it. Kyle Shanahan finally getting his Super Bowl that he's been needing. And send me my ring.
That would be well-deserved, Rich. So that leads us to player predictions, man. Back on MVP talk, Rich. I already told you, I'm going with my boy. Actually, not my boy. I don't even know him, but a guy who I think from Buffalo who is going to carry that team finally to a Super Bowl, potentially to a win, you know, Jim Kelly status. We're going
Don't be Jim Kelly status. Don't be Jim Kelly status. Don't take him to four Super Bowls and go home with nothing.
A little bit further than Jim Kelly. No, I think it's Josh Allen's time, Rich. I mean, come on. Like, he probably should have won it last year. Let's be real with ourselves. You know what I mean? Like, it is.
Tom Brady should have won it. He's 50. And he stole 50 touchdowns.
The Josh Allen from the Buffalo Bills, by the way, not your favorite Josh Allen from the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I was wondering if you were going to go there, but Justin Herbert is the guy. He's setting records every single year for the youngest to do this, the youngest to throw this many yards, the youngest to throw this many touchdowns. And you got to remember, his first start came because of tragedy to Tyrod Taylor, an unexpected injury at time. He wasn't even practicing to be the starter. Now he's the undisputed guy, and he's going to be the undisputed guy in the National Football League, the MVP after this season. He has all the weapons, Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. Like, he's here to do it this year in LA.
Gunslinger, Rich. Gunslinger. I love Justin Herbert. I love the call. Absolutely love the call. You've already spoken about it on Thursday Night Football. Nicholas, I forgot his middle name, Bosa, is your defensive player of the year. Why?
Why? Because he's unstoppable. He is unstoppable. And what you need to do is double him and chip him. What you cannot do is double him and chip him, because there are too many other people that will destroy your offensive line. Eric Armstead being the main culprit, Javon Kinlaw, Drake Jackson being the new guy. They have a rotation the rotation of devastation. It's going to be tough to deal with. And so you're not going to be able to double Bosa, and all you're going to do is be able to watch your quarterback get hit by him over and over. And not to say that, hey, in the run game, he'll probably have 2-3 TFLs a game. Like, I just can't imagine him not getting it unless, well, I mean, I can, because he didn't get a vote for comeback player of the year last year, and he had 15 and a half sacks coming off of ACL. And I mean, good night. Like,
Richard, with you being a former 49er and a former teammate of Nick Bosa, picking them to win the Super Bowl and him to win the Defensive Player of the Year, a lot of people would say you're a little bit biased, but I wouldn't be one of them. I mean, I think you're spot on. I think it's the 49ers year. I think this Nick Bosa, if he can stay healthy, he's got everything in that pedigree, in that family to win a Defensive Player of the Year. So let's see what happens. But Joey Bosa could win it too. So who knows? We got one or the other. I'll take one of the Bosas.
It's going to be one of the Bosas or what? You know what I mean? It's going to be hard to anybody else. I mean, Aaron Donald could always do it.
Fair. Offensive Player of the Year.
Offensive Player of the Year. Jeez Louise. It's always, what sucks about that is I wish they take the quarterbacks out of it, but they don't. They don't. It's going to be a quarterback. It's going to be a quarterback. I think this is Justin Herbert's time to shine. I think he has a season that finally puts him amongst the elites. Obviously, his numbers and his stats say that, but I think him playing down the stretch and winning crucial ball games is going to really put it over the top. Offensive Player of the Year, Justin Herbert.
I would go Jared Goff, but I feel like a lot of people are picking him, so I have to go a different direction. I'm going to go Josh Allen for obvious reasons. Rock star, probably putting people through tables. They're going to be winning a hell of a lot of games up in Buffalo. Coach of the year.
Coach of the year. Coach of the year.
Is it my boy Dan Campbell's time to shine? Is it Robert Saleh's time to shine? Or is it someone emerging from the depths? Or what are we looking at here, Rich?
Let's see. I mean, you got the guys that you always expect to get it. You know, Andy Reid will always be in it. That's tough. We'll come back to that one. You'll come back to that one because I need to think about that one a little deeper. Because in Tampa, I don't think they'll give it to him, even if Tom wins the Super Bowl this year. I don't think they'll give the Coach of the Year to Todd Bowles because they'll be like, hey, of course they did. You know, he only did it 7 times before, you know, and it's situations like that where it's
they'd probably end up naming Tom Brady the Coach of the Year at that point, Rich.
Right.
Okay. We'll save that one for a rainy day. How about comeback player of the year? Is this something that Baker Mayfield might have his eyes on? Or are we just avoiding him? I know you love Baker.
I mean, he could. That's what they always give it to quarterbacks. They always give the awards to quarterbacks because it's like no matter what, the quarterback. So
they don't care about the cornerback that's coming off an Achilles tear and then just comes and helps lead a team to a Super Bowl. I mean, they don't give a rat's ass about guys like that.
Right, J.C. Horn. I'm going with J.C. Horn. God dang it, on the same team. J.C. Horn.
Okay.
Should have got to play last year. Will come back and have the season he should have had last year, which will be fantastic. J.C. Horn.
Okay, Rich.
And you know what? I'm going to give you a pick for Coach of the Year. Brandon Staley, because we're going to keep the Chargers in the mix. They didn't make the playoffs last year. They'll make the playoffs, likely make an AFC championship. That'll earn him a Coach of the Year.
I'm going to go with Kyle Shanahan, and my dark horse is Dan Campbell. I like your pick of Brandon Staley, though, Rich. Richard, okay, we've called out the obvious ones. Let's move a little bit more to the bold predictions category of things. Which dark horses do you like to, rise to the top to be potential stars in this league that no one's really thinking about right now? I'm going to throw a name at you, and I want you to know this is my pick, Rich. Tony Pollard.
Why would you even bring up Tony Pollard? Why would you bring him up?
Because it's called a bold prediction.
That's not bold. That's crazy. The owner of the team said we only go as Ezekiel Elliott goes, who is in front of Tony Pollard. So he will not, unless something crazy happens to Zeke, Tony Pollard will only be a secondary thought in the owner's mind. Come on now,
I don't even believe the owner, Rich. Tony Pollard is my choice for breakout player of the year.
I don't know. Devontae Smith of the Philadelphia Eagles, breakout player of the year.
Respect. Finally, it's fantasy football draft season. If you walk around town, you're going to see a bunch of people having drafts at local bars. You might, for me, I just have my Zoom annual draft with all of my buddies. Rich, let's forget the quarterbacks. Let's look at the running backs and wide receiver positions. Who's kind of some of your dark horse guys that aren't necessarily at the top of the list that you think are due for breakout seasons?
Well, Brandon Ayuk, he isn't at the top of anybody's list. And with everything you're hearing out of camp, he's due for a breakout season. We'll see what Michael Thomas has. I think the expectations are very high for him. I think Quintorris Julio-Jones is a sleeper that, guys can get late in their fantasy drafts. I think Keenan Allen is always underrated. Him and Mike Williams down there in L.A. are always underrated. Allen Robinson, who never gets credit, is in a situation where Cooper Kupp will be getting doubled. Cooper Kupp had 244 targets last year. I think that'll spread a little bit more evenly this year with Allen Robinson being there.